With the Han Solo movie looming on the horizon, I thought it would be fun to look at the book trilogy chronicling the life of a young Han Solo that Disney is inevitably going to rip off. Retain elements of. View as inspiration. Oh, jeez. The Han Solo trilogy covers a lot of ground, so let's hop to it.
The Paradise Snare opens up on Gareth Shrike's ship, the Trader's Luck. A break-in into the weapons cache turns out to be a young Han Solo being Han Solo.
He's the only one cocky enough to try this. Tonight I'm going to teach him to respect authority, and he's going to wish he'd never been born, or that I'd never found him 17 years ago, or that my dialogue wasn't so expository.
It turns out that Han is planning on breaking out of Trader's Luck to go to Yelesia and become a pilot, but not before saying goodbye to his Wookiee friend Dulana, who offers him some credits. Well, okay. But this is just a loan, okay? I'm gonna pay you back. Dulana then randomly muffs up his hair. Hey, I do not look better, Scruffy. I keep telling you, the term Scruffy ain't complimentary among humans. That's a total fan service line, but I'm gonna let that one slide because it's kind of funny.
Who's scruffy looking?
But Garrus catches up to Han. He readies to kill Han for insubordination, but Dulana sacrifices herself and knocks out Garrus so Han has a chance to run to the hangar. Han takes it and escapes successfully. After some flashback to Han's beggar boy days, he wakes up and finds an R2 unit and requests its assistance to Yelesia. And then, more flashbacks. This book is really front-loaded with expository and backstory-heavy flashbacks. And most of them basically say the same thing. Shrike's kind of a douchebag, which we might have been able to figure out since he already tried to kill Han Solo. I could see maybe 1 or 2 flashbacks to drive it home, but there are like 5 of them in this second chapter. So Han reaches his destination in a crash landing and meets High Priest Terowenza, getting the piloting job instantly. He almost blows it by not recognizing one of his many aliases that he's using, Vic Drago. Another one is a cute anagram for Indiana Jones, which I'm surprised I didn't catch on my first read-through. First day on the job, and Han starts seeing things that are tipping him off about how it might not be all it's cracked up to be. Religious pilgrims who have been turned into factory workers, the impending danger of his new piloting job, and nightly congregations that get everyone high AF on that spiritual healing. In spite of all this, though, Han decides to wait it out because money. As part of the workforce, I could feel you on that one, Han. Besides, Han told himself, I'm going to be piloting for these Yelesians. I'll have access to a ship. If I decide I don't like it, I'll just take my money and vanish. What can they do to stop me, after all? Ah, you jinxed it, you dummy. Terowenza then introduces Han to Murg, a fiercely loyal Togorian assigned to be a bodyguard for Han. But Han knows it so he can be watched at all times. They even get an apartment together. The next day, Han and Murg take a tour through the mines, and that's when Han meets her, a fellow Corellian who happens to be a potential forced romantic interest. Because of course there has to be one. She won't tell Han her name yet, but she will give him her pilgrim number, 921, in the chance that they meet again. If they want to go for the full Star Wars experience, her number should be 1138. But you gotta love how little of a shit Han gives that this 6-foot cat-like predatory alien is trying to cock-block him, and yet he still persists for her name. That's so Han. Chapter 5. Spice Wars. Terowenza summons Han to his quarters to inform him that he is taking over another pilot's route. In the meantime, Han and Murg have some bonding, including teaching the Togorian proper basic. I'm getting this interstellar flying stuff down pat, ain't I? Aren't. I have been reading book pilot gave me, and ain't is not correct way to talk basic. I'm not even sure how this galaxy far, far away picked up a 19th century English slang to begin with. Also, why does hey basic sound like English, the least basic language ever? All those stupid rules and exceptions. But their bonding is interrupted by pirates ambushing them. The pirates eventually escape, but Murg is hurt and requires immediate medical attention, so Han stops at the nearest planet. They're greeted by Senator Bail Organa of Alderaan. The fan service is strong with this one.
But this brings up a quibble I have. We're nearly 120 pages into this book, and nothing is really driving the plot forward. It's just a bunch of things happening to Han. There's a lot of good world building of the seedy underbelly of the galaxy, and Han Solo just being Han Solo is always entertaining. We have the potential for plot points, but either others keep coming up or they just go unused for a while, or some combination of both. Like, we've got the brainwashing religious cult, but nothing is being done with it yet. We've got Shrike, the Fagin to Han's Oliver Twist, assumedly hunting him down, but he doesn't show up again until the last 20 pages. And now we've got pirates who turn out to be the Hutts in a Glitterstim war with Ylesia. With that, though, things start to intertwine into a more cohesive narrative of this happens, so this happens, rather than this happens and then this happens.
Han soaks up a job well done in a mud bath with some Ylesian priests, and he inquires about the nightly devotionals and how it all works. The exaltation is a refinement of an ability we males of the Tilanda Teal use to attract the females of our species during mating season. We create a frequency resonance within the recipient's brain that stimulates the pleasure centers. The humming vibration is produced by air flowing over the cilia in our neck pouches where we inflate them. The females find it irresistible. Surely, spilling the ages-long secret of our religious cult, which is the backbone of our economy, to the guy who's been here for like 3 weeks won't backfire horribly. Sure enough, Han got a recording of his entire conversation with the priests while in the mud bath. I am not going to ask where he hid that device. I'm kidding, it was just in a fanny pack. Belt pouch. Nice euphemism for fanny pack there. Sometime later, Han decides to play the recording for Pilgrim 921, whose name has been revealed to be Bria. Just be patient and listen, okay? I don't know. I can tell I'm not going to like this. I've got a bad feeling about that recording.
Should I start a counter? I'm starting a counter. We've still got 2 other books, and there's no way they're just gonna blow that bad feeling line like that.
Bria is hesitant to believe him.
Believe it, kid. I took the pictures myself. She played patty cake.
But Han gives her some glitter stim, which can give someone telepathic abilities if they hold it to the sun and ingest it.
Wait. So, the biggest export of this planet, this drug, also grants telepathic powers? And no one's thought to use it sooner to call out Terrawenza on his bullshit? Han can't be the first unbeliever that this planet's ever seen. There has to have been someone at least kind of on the fence about this whole thing, or someone who just thinks this is all kind of weird, or someone trying to telepathically communicate with someone else, and whoops, accidentally intercepts Terrawenza's thoughts. No one's thought about getting high on their own supply? Not even Terrawenza himself, to probe Han's mind during his interview to see if he's telling the truth about his piloting ability, or how all of its runs go, or to make sure all the pilgrims are being good little compliant slaves? This planet's practically made of drugs. I just can't defend this. This is bad writing. It reeks of Deus Ex Machina and just unnecessarily opens up so many plot holes.
So Bria takes the glitter stim during exaltation and probes Terrawenza's mind to discover that Han was right. So they plan to escape together. But first, Han is taken on a mission to give Gilliac the Hutt a message, which, unbeknownst to him, is a threat to the Hutt clan. Meanwhile, Terrawenza plans to marry off Bria to his servant, Ganner Toss? Yeah, that just sounds like a subplot that's going to get brushed away pretty quickly. Just like Murg hunting down his love in another colony to bring with him the escape. The escape seems to be going off without much of a hitch, but Bria is experiencing withdrawals without the exaltation in her life anymore. Han has a solution to that, though, once they stop on Tagoria to drop off Murg and Morov. A magic Moskoth ride.
I wanted to do a parody of A Whole New World here, but A, Disney copyright, and B, this Midwest weather has my voice sounding like shit. You guys got off lucky.
Once back home on Corellia, Han and Bria sell their ship, since it's being hunted by Ylesia, and meet Bria's parents, who are, shall we say, pretty ballin'. Too ballin', perhaps, since Han finds it hard to relate to the family, and Mom seems to disapprove of every little thing that comes out of his mouth. Usually with an oh or oh dear, the hoity-toity bitch. Dad seems to like Han, though, as they both share piloting roots, so that's something. Papa Theron even sticks up for him when Han is caught in one of his alias-switching lies. Han and Bria run away to Coruscant, where Han is having some credits transferred over. Meeting the parrots and going to the bank? How can I keep up with all this Star Wars-y action? Actually, Han runs into a bit of trouble trying to get his credits. He needs a second source of ID to close his account and withdraw the funds, and, well, it becomes a hostage situation. Han gets away by the skin of his teeth and finds Bria at their planned meeting spot. But after a lot of thinking, Bria decides to leave Han behind for his own good and hers. She gets in contact with Pops, who generously leaves Han with enough money to give his identity a clean slate. With this fresh start, Han decides to apply to the Imperial Space Academy to become a pilot and gets accepted. Things seem to be going well. Perhaps too well, since we still have 15 pages.
Hey, Han. Good to see you again, boy. I have to admit you weren't easy to find.
Garrus Shrike has found Han Solo and is looking to turn him in for some credits. After some tussling, Han ends up with Garrus's blaster, but he can't bring himself to take the shot. Luckily, someone else takes it for him, a bounty hunter who also wants Han to bring the Hutts. Well, of course, Han wins and gets rid of the bodies. With that, he's ready to go back to the Academy and prove himself, feeling born anew.
And that was the Paradise Snare. Like I said, the pacing early on is kind of wonky with that flashback-heavy second chapter and the plot lines that don't really connect until almost halfway through. But the character of Han Solo is absolutely nailed here, and his quick wit, charisma, and suave personality shine through in spots where it's sorely needed. And the supporting cast isn't too shabby either, especially in their interactions with Han. Bria comes off as a bit of a forced romantic interest at first, but Han and Bria's relationship gets surprisingly developed over the course of the first book. And with Star Wars, the romance is very hit or miss. Mostly miss. So this is kind of welcome. Maybe romances in space are just doomed unless they're with Han Solo. Garrus Shrike is a bit of wasted potential as a villain, though, only being in the first and last 15 pages, with maybe 2 or 3 offhand mentions in the rest of the book. But his dynamic as a sort of mentor to Han would have been great stuff to work with. Maybe Tarowenza was meant to fill the role of villain, but I don't know, compared to other Star Wars villains, he's kinda meh. But overall, the building blocks are there for the next 2 books in this trilogy to be pretty good. Come back to this spot on May 15th when I tackle the Hutt Gambit. And may the 4th be with you.